what's the hardest part about hiring people in manufacturing? And it's the resume, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the biggest joke of it all, because like if you go look for a job in manufacturing, it's like must have experience with 5-axis mill or lathes or turning centers or CAM programming in this specific CAM seat. Whether it's like, NX or Mastercam or Hypermill or, Spree or whatever, there's a million of them, right?
Yeah.
The hardest part about hiring people in manufacturing is a resume. So what happens when we just take the resume out of that and enable anybody to get to manufacturing?
Exactly. Welcome to Manufacturing Insiders. Today I have Tim Falcone with me. He is a brilliant guy. He is a mechanical engineer by trade. He's been deeply involved in software development, software integration in the manufacturing space. And he's really created a brand new concept for manufacturing. I'm really excited to pick his brain about this because I know there's a lot of shop owners out there that see all these options in the field. These different ERPs that they could choose from, these different, design softwares, information tracking, data collection, all this technology somebody's out there trying to sell you. And I just think to myself, there's got to be a way to create a perfect system or a near perfect system that integrates all these things together. So Tim has some insights for us on that. So welcome to Manufacturing Insiders.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Before I jump too far into it, just want to make a quick note. Please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this video, like it, give us a like, give us a share, listen to us on your way to work. If you're a leader that has insights to share with other manufacturing leaders that would be helpful to them, go to manufacturinginsiders.com, fill out the form there, and we'd love to have you on as a guest. So Tim, can you describe PraesiDM, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and what you're doing there?
Yeah, no, it's PraesiDM. So I always kind of start our pitch like people are like, where'd you come up with the name and everything else. So we stole it from the Latin word Praesidium, which is actually spelled D-I-U-M, and we kind of shortened it for digital manufacturing at the end with the D-M.
Yep.
Which means defense and shield. And we really think that your best offense is a great defense. And in the world we live in today, that's their ability to manufacture not only defense components and aerospace components, but just general industrial components throughout the United States, which really we've lost track of over the last 40 or 50 years, So, I've had a vision for a long time to stand up a company to really start to enable people to capture data, recapture data, reuse data, and standardize methodology and how we process components. Specifically, right now, we're working a lot around additive and subtractive manufacturing, where we feel like our technology could be deployed across any industry, really, manufacturing components from robotic assemblies right down to manufacturing fabrics, or composites. So we just happen to know the additive subtractive world very well, and that's kind of where we're focusing on right now. And a lot of our customers, come from the aerospace defense world. So that's what we're focused on.
Yeah. So what's the biggest challenge that you're seeing in the manufacturing space when it comes to technology and automation?
I think the biggest challenge is which slice of pie you want to pick. Or like, if you go to the baker, it's like 100 pies, and it's like, okay, like which one do I want, right? And how are they going to mesh with the cup of coffee that I have or whatever it is? I think deploying this I think there's a lot of great technology out there. I mean, we happen to just focus around a lot of our Siemens tech, so everything from the motion control side to the PLM. That's our sweet spot. That's what we know. It's what we're good at. So a lot of the tech that we build is around the Siemens platforms, but there is definitely a lot of great software in the manufacturing world. And I think right now we have a big issue with connectivity, right? Like how do we make all these platforms communicate in a way that makes sense and is easily deployed? Keyword easily deployable for the general manufacturer, considering that the industrial base consists of like 20 or 30,000 mom and pop shops with like an average employee count of like 7 to 15, right? So we're not talking about huge enterprise solutions where people can devote a ton of cash and time to get up and running, right? Something quick, deployable, and easy to use at the end of the day, I think is the key word.
Right.
So what we found is a couple major components that people struggle with, and we're trying to make it better.
Okay.
Video.
And what are those components? What are the biggest ones?
Yeah, so you'd be surprised, but we started our business on developing post processors and simulation kits for a
Okay.
lot of our customers, and utilizing full capabilities of machine tools. While it sounds great on paper, it's very difficult. And your post processor is a connection between your CAM system and your machine tool, right? So if you have, new machines have grinding capabilities, mill turn capabilities, multi-axis probing, all machine metrology. So really utilizing full capabilities of your machine tool. That's how we started our business. Was how do we connect the CAM system to the machine tool with like utmost functionality, right? Where we can actually utilize any kind of custom HMI from the manufacturer, or for example, like in a Siemens control, how do we standardize output for like cycle 832 for smoothing on different types of operations, just to simplify the use case for the end user, the CAM programmer. Right. So we built our business around that, and while we do that successfully now, it's like part of what we do to stay alive here at PraesiDM. In addition to build software components, we found that like all of these gaps at every customer, whether it be like all machine metrology issues, QMS issues, quality issues, or right down to even simple things that we take for granted, like tool management, right? Tool management is one of the hardest things to accomplish. It really standardizing all the shop tools, making a data set for them all here in your own shop, and then standardizing feeds and speeds for those tools as well, and based upon materials. How do we collect all that data and recapture it so we can reuse it simply, right? By saying, oh, that's a pocket in 718 Inconel, and like this is how we cut it with this tool. It's this deep on this machine, and here are the feeds and speeds, and quickly deploy it and be successful at it, right? So our first article part becomes an actual part, not a scrap part, right? Or something we put on our shelves and be like, well, that was almost good enough.
Right.
But the second one, I mean, we wanted everyone to hit them on the first time every time. So we look at ways of standardizing processes, really to enable anybody to get into manufacturing, right? Once we start to collect those data points, standardize the process, it just becomes a click of the button. Manufacturing becomes as easy as navigating around your iPhone or your Android, right? It doesn't have to be as complex as we make it. I think we've just lost the capability and traceability of what manufacturing in America is,
yeah,
and their knowledge, right? Like that's, I think we all are stuck on processes, like how we do things internally, and we don't really share. Like, that's the biggest thing, right? And I get
manufacturers hold very close to their chest.
Yeah, their IP or what they're doing, right?
Sometimes to an excessive extent. Like I'm in marketing and I work with a lot of manufacturers, and part of my job is to generate content that's going to attract new business, leads to come through their website. In order to do that, you need to share some information. And boy, you have some people that are like, yeah, just don't put the company name. We can kind of describe what we did. And then there's other ones that are like, we can't even say that we did anything in this industry. And I'm like, all right.
It gets a little bit too crazy. I mean, like, look, when we're cutting metal, right? Like,
right.
We don't have to be specific on what kind of parts we're cutting, but we're profiling this material on this type of machine tool at this depth of cut. Where we're successful at. What's a standardized feed and speed for that material, and be able to apply it quickly and easily, and even just right down to the tool path by a simple click of the button, your mouse button. So, what we think, is that through our network of factories, we're able to start collecting more and more data, and be able to capture it and reuse it and standardize a lot of these processes that a lot of people struggle with, right? So
how does that 17-man machine shop how would they engage with you? Is this a suite of software that you sell to them? Do you come in as a consultant and say you need these three pieces of technology and then we're going to tie them all together? Like, how do you get involved there?
Right now, we still have we're still building our platform, which consists of everything from CAM to data management, QMS, ERP, and also digitalized work instructions that are able to easily communicate tasks via videos, basically interactive videos is what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's
right now we are building a platform. We don't have anything available for sale at the moment, but we are starting to scale our first factory in the city of St. Louis with the same methodology that we're using here in our facility in Evergreen, Colorado.
Very interesting.
While like I said, most of the things are devised around Siemens platforms, so we are big on Siemens NX in-house for both our CAD and CAM, and engineering for that matter. It's what we think is the best vertically integrated engineering system in the market. And it now allows us for full traceability from the part right down to the CAM program. And then on top of that, our work instructions are all built from the bill of materials. And we're working on an AI component on that too. So we're constantly updating the work instructions to really, like, if you were working at Walmart at the cash register before, you can put together a fixture, based upon instructions, right? It's like, It's as easy as changing the brake pads on your car, right? Like if you're like, I've never done this before, but I'm sure I can change the brakes in this car. Where do we go? We go and search for my, 2015 Ford F-150. And I go I want to change brakes in these things, whatever it may be, go to YouTube, right? I'm sure there's a 2015 Ford F-150 and a guy out there showing you how to do it, right? So we're doing that in manufacturing, and we're doing on the AI level and AI video content level, really, right? I mean, so while we're integrating all of these outside components and data structures, really the key driver of our success is enabling anybody in the workforce to jump in and quickly get into manufacturing, right? I joke around and like, what's the hardest part about hiring people in manufacturing? And it's the resume, right? That's the biggest joke of it all, because like if you go look for a job in manufacturing, it's like must have experience with 5-axis mill or lathes or turning centers or CAM programming in this specific CAM seat, whether it's like NX or Mastercam or Hypermill or Spree or whatever. There's a million of them, right? The hardest part about hiring people in manufacturing is a resume. So what happens when we just take the resume out of that and enable anybody to get into manufacturing?
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of people out there that want better jobs, want better opportunity for employment and better opportunity for growth. And I think manufacturing can be that light for people. And especially like when you start to look at like underserved communities, whether that's inner city or rural, right? Like, people that were farmers before that, maybe farming is not the thing for them anymore, or they're just looking for a way to be successful in life and provide for their families. And I think manufacturing can be that driver for them. And using softwares like PraesiDM's map system is really where we thrive, what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, so I'm interested in that concept, and I've actually had a couple of conversations recently about the digital work instructions. How are you capturing the video?
So right now, the AI thing it's still in the works. So right now we're manually making videos of everything from building tools to running software to building fixtures to running the machine tool, to simple things like maintenance on the air compressor, right? So we're capturing all of this data with the idea that we can later on associate different components with a digital library. So then we can say, oh, like here's your HSK 100 half-inch, 5.5-inch long shrinking holder. How do I use the shrinking? How do I do this? Well, the tool you need is in this drawer, and the shrinking unit's over here, and this is how we operate it, and be able to create AI generate digital content specifically for that tool rather than like a generic,
Right.
this is how we build it, right?
Right. Right. Right.
So like, I think we're on our way to doing what we're trying to accomplish. It's hard, right? Like there's just so many jobs on the
Oh, I
shop
mean,
floor,
it's
right?
huge. It's
So
huge.
it's just an insane amount of data and content that we're all trying to collect here at the company, and
Right.
it's a slow process. While we are, we're not like a VC funded company. We bootstrapped everything we have here.
Yep.
I think which says a lot about the dedication to our team and what we're trying to accomplish. Everybody really believes in the vision and the capabilities that we have here.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely have a bigger vision, I think, than a lot of machine shops or manufacturers. So did this just sort of evolve over time? Did you kind of start out as just a traditional machine shop or additive manufacturing shop, and then you started to identify just inefficiencies and places you could automate, and then you just started building components, and then it just turned into this, or how did
Yeah,
it
no,
come about?
crazy story. I worked for Siemens before this, and I just saw a lot of struggle. Like a lot of people, like just struggling deploying the software. I specifically worked on the manufacturing side, so CAM integration for customers, and struggles are real. Like they couldn't figure out how to drive the machine through the CAM system or create a certain type of operation. And I saw an opportunity, so I left Siemens and started a consulting company. So we built everything from the ground up. This is going on the 11th year now, from 2015. So the shop was always on my mind. Unfortunately, and I guess fortunately, the capital investment in standing up manufacturing facilities is insane, right? Like
Yeah.
it's nuts. Fortunately, we have great partners here helping us stand up our vision and really bring it to fruition. Like Zoller has been a huge component of what we're trying to accomplish from the tool management side, from everything from their hardware sitting behind me here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so everything from the tool benches they have to presetters, balancers, shrinking tools, right down to their holders. And also, Heller got involved with us about a year ago now, supplied us with a machine tool, helping us just realize this vision of what we can really accomplish through digitalization of the manufacturing environment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a huge advantage as a consulting company that you're also doing the manufacturing. You're actually doing your
Well,
experimentation,
that
learning.
was the thing, right? It was
Yeah.
like always like, and even like, not to like, turn down people or whatever, but a lot of these companies build software platforms, but they never implement them.
Right.
And I think that's a huge flaw,
Hmm.
because you're relying on somebody that doesn't understand manufacturing and what needs to be done. You're relying on a software developer
Right.
to develop a fake environment that may or may not work for you.
Right.
And my vision was always to take it from the consulting side, see people's problems, realize they're on the shop floor, and fix them, and show them how we fixed them here with technology.
Right.
And that's been a huge game changer for us. I mean, our ability not only to educate our customers on what's available and what's really capable, but really to show it off. Like, look, this actually is working. We're cutting parts right here. This
Yeah.
technology is a real thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not like just blowing smoke here and saying like, well, this could work. And the funny story from the bigger companies, it's like all these enterprise software solutions that, yeah, I'm sure they could work, but like I have to invest like not only the software costs, but like $200,000 into engineering and support to
Yep.
get all of this working. And oh yeah, by the way, every year I'm probably going to have to invest like another 25 to 50 into the engineering side because continually updates, changes in my shop, workflows, whatever.
Yep.
So what happens if we start to standardize that? And use our engineering team to help deploy this software and solutions and processes and workflows throughout a bunch of shops.
Hmm.
We shrink our engineering budget, right, considerably as a small shop, right? We don't need these consultants anymore because we have a main hub of team that supports all of our software activities.
Yep.
So that's kind of the dream. That's what we're chasing after right now, is being able to not only stand up our own facilities, but distribute our software to some of these smaller shops
Mm-hmm.
and really give them much higher throughput, higher efficiencies, and the ability to hire anybody, right?
Right.
Like that's where they struggle. It's like, who the heck am I going to hire? Well, what if I said you could hire anybody?
Yeah.
Like all they had to have was a little bit of ambition to learn, and like, that's it, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if they have like a mechanical background, or like, the kid down the street that takes apart his car every weekend, or is put new performance components on it, or whatever it may be, those are the guys we're trying to attract into manufacturing, because we feel like it's got the bad rap for so long, right? Like, our parents, looked at us and said, "You're going to college. You're not going to work in this greasy environment and dirty environment." Well, like, come into our shop. It's like painted floors and
Yeah.
robotics, and everything's organized and it's super clean, and
Yep.
it's a great place to work. And I think we can do that with all manufacturing in the United States, even down to like the dirtiest industries like castings, right? I think there's so much potential to make it better and make it more attractive for people. Like, yeah, working at a big forging place with like hot molten metal, I mean, it's going to suck either way,
Right.
but I think we can make it better.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to accomplish. Like, we don't want people to hate their jobs, right? Like, I work in manufacturing. No, I'm a manufacturing technician.
Mm-hmm.
That's what, right?
It's in framing. That's exactly it. I was talking to another machine shop, and that was one big thing that he emphasized is the way that we describe the job. They called them engineers. They're not obviously trained engineers, but they would call them, machining engineers, something to that effect.
Yeah.
But that way, when the kid goes and tells his parent, "I'm getting this job," they're like, "Oh, well, that sounds nice. That's something I can tell my friends that my son does."
Yeah, and scale like that. Like let's scale manufacturing with like a positive forward-facing attitude, right? Like let's think about the innovation and the possibilities of what we can do with American manufacturing, not the setbacks of what we had in the past.
Right.
I think we all get stuck in the past of what it was, what it could be, and I think like we're just changing, like, we're just changing what manufacturing is, and also the hands-on, right? Like, we're doing so much with robotics and machine tools and software now. Like, we're not opening doors anymore to go measure in-process workpiece. We're doing it all at the machine tool. Like, we're running a full all-machine metrology system on our machine tool that, like, when the part comes off, we already know it's good. It still goes through all of our QMS processes and procedures for AS9100, but we know it's a good part before it even leaves the machine tool.
Exactly.
And if it's not a good part, we can automatically make updates to it to hopefully make corrections. Obviously, I can't put back material, but we always have the opportunity to remove material or change features if that's available.
Right. Yeah. They're very interesting. So, have you, kind of in your building your vision for this really technologically advanced type of manufacturing? I hear a lot about China, and we kind of have this concept in our minds of China as, cheap, low quality, whatever. But, everyone's saying that's changed so dramatically. I mean, they're 80% automated over there. We're like 8% automated over here. So have you kind of looked at some of those case studies and, said we need to bring that to America, or is this, sort of just straight from your head?
No. I mean, everybody else is kicking our butt, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's China or even Germany. Like, you go spend time in Germany, and like, there's so many German-made parts and components and things that they use in their daily lives, all made right there in Germany. And I think for most of us here, you flip over your water bottle, you're like, oh man, made in some Asian country,
Yeah.
We want to change that. I think, like, and I think automation is the key to it, right? Because we don't want to encourage people to come in and get dirty every day and greasy. That may happen, but generally speaking, these are clean jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are loading and unloading parts, simple assembly, or our ability to place parts on a table where a robot can automatically grab the part and assemble it for us, right? So these are simpler jobs. They're not complex, right? And for the complex jobs, we have the complex tasks at the shop. We have software to support you in every step.
Right.
So, like, I think there is an essence of manpower that's needed in manufacturing, right? Like, I think you can't ever just say, oh, well, that's a fully automated shop. They don't even need people anymore. I don't believe in that.
Yeah.
I don't believe in I believe in automating the tasks that people no longer want to do and making it simpler. But I also think people need something to do. I think that's part of us. It's built into us. Like we need something to drive us as just humans, right?
Right.
You just can't get a paycheck every month and be like, I just sit on my couch and do nothing. Like
Yeah.
that,
Like
I would drive me
the
crazy.
universal basic income when AI and robotics runs everything. Yeah.
No,
It sounds
I
terrible.
love what we do here. I mean, the challenge is so great, but we're building something awesome, and I believe in it. And I think, looking back on the past, there used to be this American pride that we had in manufacturing, like, oh, it's build America, American strong, and we've lost that,
Yeah.
and we want to revitalize it. We want to bring it back. We want to make the American manufacturing the hub of the world for what's really capable. I mean, if you look at the technology platforms that we have, they're all developed here in the United States. We trump everybody. We're great at building technology. Why don't we focus around deploying it in manufacturing and making it more accessible and building something, great that Americans can stand by?
Yeah. No, I agree. So where do you draw the line? Because there's arguments to be made for needing critical infrastructure, critical manufacturing, at least to some degree here. The forging, the raw steel suppliers, all that kind of stuff, just for our own security. But a lot of people say, well, how much of that do we want here? Like, what type of manufacturing do you think we should be focusing on? What are we going to have a competitive advantage in?
Well, I mean, obviously, defense and aerospace, energy sectors, right? You start to look at what are the biggest problems in the world right now? It's energy,
Yeah.
right? All of these components for whether it's modular nuclear reactors or fusion now, whatever it's going to be, are going to be machined components or grown components of some sort, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think, starting with an infrastructure around the technology sector, like I said, defense, aerospace, energy, it's huge, right? Life sciences.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's a lot to be said that what we can do with that. And just the supply and demand from the raw material side to castings and forgings are going to drive other industries to further develop here in America. I think that's just a starting point. Now, if you're talking about plastic extruded toys and everything else, I think that's pretty far away. Especially when you look at China with raw material costs is insane compared to what we have here in the United States. And I think part of that's some of the EPA restrictions we have.
We export
also I think if you, not to talk politics here, but our government doesn't step in for manufacturers enough. They just make it more difficult on us.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was really optimistic, originally about the tariffs because, the stated goal of it was to make U.S. manufacturing stronger. But now for the past 6 months, I've got the opposite story from every manufacturer that I've talked to that they're all hurting from it. What's your take on that?
Oh, man, I get the hurting part. I'm still a big believer in it, though. I just don't think look, at the end of the day, manufacturing's capital intensive. And as much as the government wants to let's make manufacturing great again, and we want to build it here and build it better, the government needs to step in and help manufacturers out with small interest loans,
Yeah.
Shoot. 0% interest loan. Show us what you're building, what you're doing, and we'll help you buy the equipment to do it.
And it makes sense. I mean, the tax revenue
without having to sign away your firstborn child, your house, whatever the heck else you own. It's a huge risk. It's a huge investment. Machine tools like a multi-axis mill turn center, starts at $1 million now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're talking about higher end machinery, probably, of course, but it's the price point of getting involved is significant. It's a significant amount of money, and I think for America to be successful, we need more resources to capital. Capital intensive programs that offer some relief for the manufacturer, because there are ups and downs too in manufacturing, right? Like I think a lot of people are buying raw materials, ores from overseas before, and that's kind of halted a lot of domestic manufacturing, and that the cost of materials has risen significantly with tariffs.
Yep.
But also, I think we haven't focused enough on what we can really do with automation and throughput on the shop floor. Like I think our efficiency from a machine tool side in general in America is something like 30%.
Yeah.
Like all the machine tools in the country, they run 30% of the time on average. Like that's pretty poor performance, and it's like I talk to so many guys around the shop floor, and like, well, we just bought this brand new DMG with a pallet changer on it.
Yep.
And it's got 60 pallets, and we run one job at a time, and it sits there not running.
A lot of manufacturers hope if they have, if you build it, they will come sort of philosophy. But then they end up in that situation where they have that $1 million machine sitting there, and it's only running a little bit of the time, and it's like, okay, what are we going to do to, get it running the entire time and to have lights out operations? And so that's when they get
right. So it's like all about the data that you have, and if you're not confident in the data that you have, it's hard to deploy stuff lights out, right?
Right.
So like that's what we're doing. We're like building this giant manufacturing data set that like you have confidence when you program a part that things are going to run. You have confidence that that Jim built the right tool in the tool crib, that's not going to crash at the machine because maybe you have some tight clearance issues on this one specific part, and confidence is what allows us to run lights out. Confidence is what allows us to enable robotics in our manufacturing systems, and that's all built from data structures, right? Like if we have confidence in the data that we're outputting, whether it's our tool builds, our feeds and speeds, our simulation, all of that, we can have confidence in saying just hit go and walk away from it, so many shops don't have the ability to invest in a lot of this tech. And I think what our platform is going to enable them is to get in at a reasonable price, right? That they're going to be able to see drastic throughput and changes in their business, and justify the cost. Right?
Yeah, which I think is amazing, and you'll have the case studies. You'll be able to demonstrate exactly what the damaged parts or the first article of inspection that you throw out, and the time saved, and the retention of employees and things like that. I mean, I think it's gonna be pretty easy to demonstrate the cost savings. So what's the timeline here? Like when can a machine shop call you up and say, hey, I need some help? And
they can call us up right now, man. I mean, we can help them through various different platforms that we support right now.
Okay.
It's something that we do on a daily basis. It's part of our business structure is to not only build this software platform, make parts, but help customers succeed in the software platforms that we're driving right now. I mean, like I said, while we are building our own internal system, encompassing what we call like a MAP system, a manufacturing automation platform. We still support all the Siemens products from the PLM side of motion control. We support all the Zoller products. We support a multitude of machine tool manufacturers as far as integration from the cam to the machine tool through a post processor and simulation. We work with all machine metrology solutions like my buddy Ray over at AAT3D. I don't know if you know those guys. They're awesome over there. So really making more of these, and all of these systems need to be stood up in some sort of way, right? And data needs to be collected and processes need to develop. But what if I just came into your shop and said, we got this all figured out already for you, man.
It'd be amazing. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go. Like I said, going back, like one of the most tedious things that we've done here is built our tool management system, man. And I can't even imagine. And like I have to, like I hammer on my guys, my team, to like this needs to be awesome, guys. And it's such a critical piece of the puzzle. It's the keystone. It's the keystone. The entire manufacturing facility is like our tool data management, and that's like fixturing and actual physical cutting tools for us, and holders, and how we deploy though, and how we build them, and make sure they're the right build every time
Right.
for the programmer. Right? I mean, we have thousands of hours in the building tools in just our own shop. But what if we could take that and like build tools at the St. Louis facility, and then I think Connecticut and the Hartford area is going to be another facility we're standing up soon. So like, what if we started to like collab and like have all this data and content already built for you, so you can easily deploy it? Like
Right.
you might not own the tool yet,
Yeah.
but you can go into the TMS software and quickly purchase it and buy it and have it on your doorstep the next day to
No,
use
it's
it,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, it's like
And
a franchise
they've
almost.
already figured out how we're going to cut this Inconel pocket with this specific tool. And
Yeah.
they're getting 50 minutes of tool life out of this one tool on high nickel content parts. Like how do we take that and enable people to not have to stand it up anymore?
Right.
That's the most challenging part, is actually making it work.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's brilliant. Yeah, and like I said, it kind of reminds me of sort of a franchise model. Like if you want to get into a McDonald's franchise, they're going to tell you where to order your supplies from. They're going to tell you how long a burger needs to cook for, and enable all the automation equipment and the training.
Like right down. They probably. I mean, I don't know anything about. I'm sure they have standardized fryers and grills and all the.
Yeah.
Hey, here's where you buy everything from.
Right. Yep.
This all works, and we all have all processes and procedures to make the perfect Big Mac every time.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing.
Well, and that's and then for you too. I mean,
you started. It's so funny you said franchise, because like I've been on a couple calls now, and people say the same thing. And I started with using the word franchise, and I think it like off puts people a little bit, and like
it has a fast food to it, yeah.
Like they think of McDonald's or something like that, and you're like, no, we're just trying to solve all these problems that we know you already have, and simplify the process through standardization.
Right.
Like your competitor down the street. Here's the thing, right? Your competitor down the street might be running the same PraesiDM map system that we are, but they might have they might focus on different types of parts, different types of components, or what they do, or they might have. You might focus on smaller components, like you might have a Swiss shop or something. And these guys, like for us, we focus a lot on big components, like 1 meter or bigger. Like those are machine envelopes,
Right.
So like, and also like the guy down the street is also giving you data to support your future endeavors or your future projects.
Oh, huge.
So we're all sharing this data set just to make it better and more, just more deployable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and there's so many ways to go about it too, but like I'm thinking of like those, I can't remember what you call this type of company, but they buy up manufacturers as a portfolio. But you would almost have a portfolio of manufacturers that you would have a stake in their business in exchange for the technology and the setup and all the assistance that you give them. But then they're obviously running their business like a franchise. I think it's amazing.
It's funny you say that. We are actually in the city of St. Louis, the beautiful city of St. Louis. We are standing up a model that is very similar to that. Like we are giving back a large percentage of the business of equity back to the employees, because we don't want them to be this. We don't want them to be like, oh, I just have a job and I show up, check in, and I'm here, and then I get paid and I leave. It's like, no, like we want you guys to be committed here. Like we want you guys to be passionate about what we're doing. If you see a problem, let's fix it.
Yeah.
Right. Like let's not continue to struggle. We were at a shop, a very large shop recently, built submarine components, and a guy previously fell off a ladder like 12 feet in the air or something, and we showed them a solution around on-machine metrology to solve it, yet they were reluctant for change. And it's like, no, like this is an opportunity to change and make it better.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you've been doing the same thing over and over for the last 15 years. Like, no, I want to instill change, because that change makes us more efficient, increases throughput, and at the end of the day makes us more money, which we all take home more money for. And there's a sense of pride of that, like, employee-owned business model that we're trying to create, that I think people will be super excited about. And I think we've taken that away from manufacturing.
Yeah.
You look at the Boeings of the world and the Pratt Whitneys, and these guys are on strike, and they're pissed because all they see is like, Boeing made $15 billion last year. And you're like, well, I saw 3.5% raise or something like that. But like, what if you didn't? Like, what if like you got a bonus of like double your income because you guys worked together as a team, stayed late, got projects done, and out the door on time, and you saw the results of that.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, that's huge. Right. That's what makes America great. Is the pride that we take in our jobs and our passion.
Yeah.
We spend how much of our lives working? We should be passionate about what we're doing.
I agree. Yeah, and an ESOP is a great way to accomplish that. Which I just learned about that a little bit in a previous call. This company has, I think, 1,600 employees, and they have a ESOP. And I wasn't really too familiar with the concept, but you need to have like a consulting firm that says how many shares you should have, and how many shares you should give out every year and things like that. But it gives those employees that sense of ownership. And, it doesn't mean that the owner of the company has to give away the company, but, he can still maintain control. But it's a much better way to go about it than having a union because, the unions, it turns into a situation where the employees are trying to get as much as they can for as little. Whereas with an ESOP, they're going to be incentivized.
Well, you want to hold your fellow coworker accountable,
right?
Like, you want to say, hey man, like, you've been late 15 minutes for the last 15 days every day, or like, there was an opportunity for you to stay late and help us get those parts at the door, but you left at your normal working hours when we all stayed late, like, to get this done. Like, hold your fellow employee accountable for their actions, right? And I think it changes that kind of union mentality where like, oh, I got the union behind me, and like, no, we're all here because we want to make more money. We want this to be a successful place, and we want to continue to develop processes and procedures that make our lives easier, all while increasing our bank account, right? That's what we're looking to do.
So this facility that you're standing up in, you said St. Louis, right?
Yes.
Was this an existing manufacturing business that you're kind of applying your technology to, or is it like a brand new facility?
No, we're standing up brand spanking new building, man. 80,000 square feet in the River City area, which is just south of St. Louis.
Okay.
Still in the St. Louis proper, but it's on the river. But no, it's a brand new facility. We struggled with, like you mentioned, some of these conglomerates, like buying up a bunch of shops and whatever. We struggle with that. But like, the problem with the shops out there that you would buy is that the technology they have, you're really buying the customer base and not what's in the building. Right. Because like a lot of this stuff is dated, right? You're like, oh, well, that's a 25-year-old machining center, or, a lot of the stuff's broken, or maybe doesn't have the functionality it used to, or doesn't keep up with today's modern manufacturing requirements.
Right.
So we thought like really the only way to do this right is to stand it up from zero.
Okay.
And build a platform, build the infrastructure completely around our processes and what we're trying to accomplish. Also, like, if we talk about like the new manufacturing environment, those old shops are not going to attract the kind of people that we want to bring in, right? Like, we want people to walk in. I mean, I don't know, Nate, if you've been like into rocket
I've done quite a few tours. I've seen some pretty antiquated shops. I've seen some pretty awesome ones.
Yeah, right. You walk into like a cool tech company and you're like, this is cool, man.
Yeah,
like, it's awesome. And you walk into some old dingy shop, you're like, well, this would suck to work here,
I
Um,
toured this guy's shop. He was, in much respect to him, I mean, he was a Marine Corps veteran like myself, but he was Vietnam or something. Um, cool guy, but he wanted to sell the shop for $1 million. And his machine, he didn't even have any CNC machines. They were all manual machines.
yeah,
and it's like, he, in his mind, it was worth this. And I'm thinking to myself, because I kicked around the idea of buying a shop for a short period of time. But I was thinking to myself, dude, nobody's going to pay you that kind of money for this shop. Like, but then I've gone into these other ones. Like, we have this one down in Meadville, which is about 40 minutes away from me here in Erie, called Accutech. They're a huge aerospace, I hesitate to even call them a machine shop because they're so much bigger than that. But they have this control room, and there's just all these TVs with data streams going across, and all these things being tracked and alerts. And it's like, oh my God, like what a contrast there.
yeah, like that's right. Like that's, we want to bring a younger generation to manufacturing and say it's okay that you didn't go to college.
Yep.
I think that, we talk about the trades so much lately too, and manufacturing fits right into those trades, right? Like it doesn't matter, like manufacturing, electrician, plumber, carpenter, whatever, manufacturing definitely has a home in the trades. And I feel like, a lot of people invest into college and maybe for the right reasons, but sometimes for the wrong reasons, and walk away and say, well, what the hell am I going to do now?
Right.
And
More often than not for the wrong reasons.
yeah, right. And what we want to say is like, no, come, we're gonna like, you like the engineering part, you like to build stuff. Like maybe you aren't a college kid, but you could be really successful in manufacturing.
Yeah.
And like
Without
we want
a
to
doubt.
enable that kind of workforce to come in, and also like, you know, we have like interns like that, that work here off and on. Like this summer, we had a bunch of interns, and they're all like, "This is the coolest place I've ever interned at." Like
Yeah.
all this machinery and all this technology, and um, I think like we can create an environment for kids out of high school to come in and be like, "No, no, no, this is what I want to do."
Yeah.
Like they're, maybe they're, building their own defense components and have a manufacturing facility that runs our technology, or maybe they are just like a contract manufacturer and building components, but they have all the best stuff, right?
Yep. Yep.
And it's an attractive place to work, right? It's clean, it's fun. Everybody's got like a go-to attitude to instill change in manufacturing, and like I said, I don't think you need to be a college graduate to be successful in this industry. And what our platform is going to enable is that exactly, right? It's going to
Yep.
say, no, you can come here and be successful in manufacturing and have an awesome job and have an opportunity to grow within the company. I mean, you're always going to have the people that don't want to do more, and that's okay. You can come work at a PraesiDM factory and be happy with where you're at. But we want to encourage growth, right? Like, we want people to ask why or how do I do that
Yep.
process, man. We have a process in place for you to grow internally and go from working on the floor to being a programmer to being a software engineer. Like, we
Yep.
have those processes built for you, right? And we can scale you. We can
Yeah.
get you up to speed.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's so important, and I think a lot of shops do struggle with that advancement path. Especially in a smaller shop. There's not that many places to go, right? Like, there's only 15 people there. Like, how far up can you
Yeah,
go?
yeah. Like, you're not going to own the place, right?
Right. Right. But no, I think that's so important, and I also, I really like the idea of making manufacturing more accessible for these young kids, and we need to figure out some way to remove the stigma around not going to college, because in my opinion, colleges are brainwashing institutions that do very little but turn our kids into gremlins. But that's a whole other topic. But no, we need to make it that the trades and having a skilled trade is going to be something that's going to give you personal fulfillment. And you and I both know that when you actually build something, at the end of the day, you look and you see it sitting there, it looks awesome. It makes you feel good, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's something that we should somehow advertise to our youth, that it's cool to build things. It's cool to be involved in this type of work.
Yeah, I mean that's why I spend my life here, man. I live at this shop because I like to build. We're building awesome parts, throughout different sectors, and we're building an awesome platform that's going to enable other people to build awesome things.
Yep.
So, I think, I guess I really believe in what we're trying to do, and I think there's definitely talent out there that wants to get into manufacturing that hasn't had the opportunity to like really digest it, right? And be like, no, I could work here. I could do this.
Yep.
This is cool. And we should encourage our youth to get into manufacturing, and I think it's the future.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
I
And
think
having
like
a really,
the tradesmen are like the salt of the earth, man.
yep.
Without them, like it's so we can't do anything. So
Yep. Yeah. And having a really, advanced facility with robotics and technology, and it's clean, it's not dingy. It's going to make it a lot easier to attract kids when they, while they're in high school, they can see this facility, do a tour of it. They're like, oh yeah, this is pretty neat. This isn't what I thought it was at all. So no, I think it's great. Well, I love your vision, Tim. And just from listening to you, you're passionate about what you do. I'm sure you're gonna be a success at whatever you do. And I'm excited for your software to be integrated with other shops that are struggling with putting all this stuff together. So I think it's a huge benefit to them too.
yeah, I'd like to. Anytime you're in the Colorado area, you want to come by, check out what we're doing. Love to have you, man, for sure. So
Yeah.
it's always
Actually, so I'm gonna be going out to I'm going to be heading out to Montana, Bozeman, Montana, in a few weeks here for an elk hunt. And I did put in for a Colorado tag too, so maybe I'll get that next year. But I don't know how far would Bozeman, Montana be from?
yeah. I mean, it's a quick flight. Like it's an hour flight, but
Okay,
it's probably
few
like a
hours.
16-hour drive or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, yeah,
It's far. But yeah, like anytime you're in Colorado, man, I'd love to have you in here. We'll demo some of our software to you. We'll have you build tools, run a machine, set up a part, set up a fixture. We're actually working on a pretty cool program right now that we can have somebody come in from zero, program a part. It'll be our logo, like a book
Oh,
stop
that's
or something like
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Like program their own book stop that they can take home for us, and it's actually a cool process where they get to realize what we're trying to accomplish, right? So right down from programming the part, which will probably end up assisting a little bit, down to building the tooling, setting it all up at the machine, running the machine, watching the part come to life, and then taking it home with them. I mean,
That,
that's what we're trying to do, right?
yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a sweet demo, like at IMTS or one of the trade shows too. I don't know how long that process would take.
Yeah, we have like a government representative that we work with out of St. Louis. Her name's Julie. So like she's about to come out here and do that exact process with us, and she's super pumped. She's like,
Yeah,
I've never done any of that before. I'm like, you're about to.
get a good
And
video.
like, what you want to do, right? You want to say like, you don't have to work at the gas station, or you don't have to, have this job. There's other jobs out there that are more fulfilling,
Yeah,
and have more opportunity to grow in. And
yeah,
manufacturing is the way.
yeah.
So
No, that's super cool. Make sure you get a nice get a videographer there and kind of put a nice video together of the whole process when she does that.
yeah, no, it's we've been slowly trying to work on that whole process. I think we're busy.
Yeah,
We're busy, and we're trying to do a million things at once. If we had 15 more people on staff, that would probably help, but we don't. So we build as we can.
yeah. Well, it sounds like you're on a great path. But thanks a lot for coming on today, Tim. I really enjoyed what you had to say, and I'm sure it was enlightening to a lot of people that have their own shops.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you for your time, and hope we can link up again soon.